Yes, welcome to the Road Jump Media Podcast. I am your host, Ray Hartfield, and our co-host today is going to be Andres, and our guests, Jose and Luis. Hey, what's up, guys? How you all
Yeah,
doing?
What's up?
what's
Pretty good,
up?
pretty good. Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Right, some morning podcast. We're settling in. All right, cool. Um,
What's up?
let's go ahead and move on to what we've been playing. So I know Animal Crossing just released. That's probably pretty much what we're probably going to be talking about. So who wants to start talking about what they've been playing?
I'll go first.
Okay,
All
I'll go
right,
first.
all right. Co-host, what's going on?
Okay, well, right now I got two islands in the making, and I spent like 90% of my time just decorating like my island. And that's even without having like the town hall ready. Like I don't got Isabel or nothing like ready yet. So I'm just spending like most of my time like landscaping without actually landscaping. It's really just moving the trees around and stuff like that. But I've already spent like a good 100 hours between both islands.
You do realize that this game came out just a week ago, Chief.
That's how dedicated I am.
I see, I see.
I've been playing this game like from when I wake up in the morning till I go to sleep like early in the morning. Like I've just been playing nonstop between both islands.
Hey, you're not alone, man. You know how many people be playing Animal Crossing these days?
Well, isn't it like outperforming like all other Switch titles right now? Like in its opening week or something, doesn't it already have like didn't it already like surpass Smash or and like Breath of the Wild or something?
Yes,
Pokemon.
sir. Yes, sir.
It's a perfect
Actually,
one.
let's go ahead and bring that new segment in since we're already on the topic. I have the numbers right here, actually. So, Animal Crossing in its first 3 days sold 1.88 million copies. 1.88 million copies sold for Animal Crossing. And in comparison to Sword and Shield combined, they sold 1.36 million in the first 3 days. And Smash Bros. Ultimate sold 1.24 in the first 3 days.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, Animal Crossing did gangbusters, man. It's actually
Well,
insane.
I think it's because the hype, the anticipation for it. Because when was the last time we got a full Animal Crossing like console game?
Let's see. I think what was
Well,
the
the
last
last
one?
like the
Well,
the
really?
last main console game has to be like City Folk for the Wii. But I
Oh,
mean,
for
there's been New Leaf for the 3DS, Happy Home Designer. Then there's the mobile game that came out like a year or two ago.
Amiibo Festival.
Oh yeah,
No,
Amiibo Festival. I forgot
We
about that
count
one
that
too.
one.
Yeah.
cricket.
All
But I
right.
mean, you also have to factor in like the whole like the coronavirus thing, the quarantine.
Well, yeah. I mean, you gotta give credit to like the quarantine. Like ain't no like nobody's that like anybody has anything to do right now except for just stay at home. So
Basically.
I mean right now it kind of hit like at the perfect time. That between that and Doom, I mean they basically like came out at just the right time since people are like locked up at home, or at least they're supposed to be.
What are Doom numbers,
Yeah,
anyways?
it'd be interesting to look at the Doom numbers.
Yo, Doom numbers are taking a back seat to Animal Crossing, man. Nobody's talking about Doom. Or they are, but not the numbers.
Well, I mean, if anybody's talking to Doom, it's really just to compare it to Animal Crossing because the Doom guy meme with Isabel.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I haven't heard much as far as like like people actually playing Doom. I haven't really heard too much about it.
Yeah, because Animal Crossing just took social media by storm, even like months up until it's released. You see all those memes and stuff on Twitter? It's actually insane. But yeah, maybe later in the podcast we can bring up some Doom numbers, but it's getting coverage like from other sites. It's just Animal Crossing is just that prevalent right now.
Hmm.
Do you think those numbers are gonna go up? Like
Yeah,
right now, the best-selling Switch game is Mario Kart, no? Mario Kart Deluxe,
yes, I
Mario Kart
believe
8
so.
Deluxe.
Yeah, like around 16 something, 16 million.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so
It
so it
is?
has some time. It had some a road ahead of it to catch up. But yeah, I think it can do it, man. I think it really can.
Well, I mean, it hasn't even been a week. A week.
Yeah. All right. So, do you want to tell us a little bit more about your experience with Animal Crossing, or do you want to pass it off to somebody else?
Now I want to hear from hear from Jose and Luis. What have they been up to?
Go ahead.
Okay, well, for us, this is our
Your
first
first
Animal Crossing
game.
game. Oh, well, for me,
Well, no, for us, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so same with me, but go ahead and explain how you've been doing it first.
um, well, first of all, I was really happy to get the game, because I wanted to try it out. Um, because I mean, Andres and his sister, Cassandra,
True.
um, were big fans of the franchise. So, I mean, I was kind of looking forward to it. I was a little turned off by the whole, having to share an island per console. I didn't know that that was like how it worked with past games as well.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Um, so knowing that I had to share that with Luis was kind of like a turn off for me. But yeah, once we got it, we actually got it as a present from obviously the biggest Animal Crossing fans in the group, Andres and Cassandra.
Shout out.
When we played it, it was actually really good. I got hooked on it really quickly. Um, I like to think of myself as like well, not a completionist, but I like to know that I'm able to like complete certain
Yes.
tasks. So like the first thing that kind of popped up with me was the Critterpedia, just being able to collect all of the,
Yeah, the
the
creatures and
animals. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
you mentioned that to me in passing, but I thought you were just joking with me, like, oh, you got the Critterpedia to do, but you were wholeheartedly behind completing
yeah.
that Critterpedia.
Yeah, I like that kind of stuff, like being able to complete, that stuff. Um, so I mean, right now we have our houses. I have my house. Um, I still think it's a little messy compared to your guys' houses. But I'm getting there. I'm really enjoying it. It's really good. I like it.
Okay. Well, see, I mean,
Cool.
the whole sharing an island or a town or anything. I mean, that's been pretty much a staple in Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all the way back since the very first one that was in the GameCube. I mean, it was all just one town, and back then it was only like only four players could live in one island. Like they all had their house and everything, their save file, if you will. But
Yeah.
I mean, it was a pretty good game for its time. I mean, I still like when in anticipation for the new Switch version. Like I went back to the old town. Matter of fact, we did that together, if y'all remember.
Mm-hmm.
But we spent a lot of hours on there, and I mean, I was very limited, because of the technology of what it was back then. All the houses were basically together. You couldn't pick out your plot. But I mean, as the years have gone by, I mean, the the core principle of the game is pretty much stayed the same. It's all just one town with more people living in it. But I mean, before, like, you were limited to like four players. Two players, I think, was like on the first one, Wild World, the first DS one, which was Wild World. I think only like two players could play that one, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
it's called Wild World. You're correct.
Yeah, Wild World.
Hmm.
And then but I mean, I think what this one has done, I mean, it's improved a lot, basically, allowing, like, it doubled the resident size, up to 8 players, and you can pick out where you want to live, pick out your plot. I mean, that's something that's been available for like the past few Animal Crossing games too, right? But I mean, they added like a bunch of different mechanics to it, like the vaulting pole, ladders and such, so you can climb up the cliffs. Which before, like, you couldn't really do that because it was all just flat land, you know. And I mean, you
Yeah.
got it. You can't ignore like the multiplayer aspect of it too, because before only one person can play at one time. Like when it was the GameCube one, like only one player could play. When you had the DS ones, whoever had the cartridge on their DS, was the one that could play. I
Yeah,
mean, sure,
yeah.
they added like network features like the online multiplayer, right? But I mean, this is the first Animal Crossing where you actually have like a co-op mode where you can, actually play up to 4 people, right? It's 4 people on one Switch console.
I think on one, it's yeah, I think so.
It's
I
four,
wanted to
yeah,
say eight, but
I think 8 is for when you play online. It's
online.
it's it's, it's online multiplayer is up to 8 people, but I think when
Uh,
when you're playing off the same cartridge, I think it's only 4. So
yeah,
I
we can
mean,
fact check. It's all good.
It's I think it's a pretty good game. I mean, it's definitely, if this was the one that you started off with, I mean, you're definitely gonna be entertained for hours.
Yeah.
Because it's really come a long way from the original. But I mean, that's you know that I think personally, my opinion, since I've played since the very very first one, I mean, there's a dramatic change to it. Since this is your first time, we'll say, I mean, yeah, like it might seem kind of off-putting that you have to share an island, but I
Hmm.
mean, at least you kind of started off with, like, the whole, all these advancements that previous games didn't have.
Right.
So let's hear from Luis now. What was your experience when you first played the game?
Well, I mean, similar to Jose, he basically said it. This is the first Animal Crossing I've ever played. So I was already looking forward to it, to playing it. And I don't know, like something about games about living a virtual life um, has always like
Well, that's we would always say The Sims.
right, and like even for example, I got into like Minecraft like around, I don't know, 2016,
Okay.
um, and
Hmm.
being able to be in this open world and just create your house and um, look for materials and craftings. It really got like my attention.
So you're kind of
So
already into it with Minecraft a little bit, but this is just like
yeah,
a
yeah,
different kind
like
of,
that type of game, like creating
yeah.
your I don't know, your thing. Um, so there was this franchise from Nintendo, that I never played, Animal Crossing, that let you do that in a way.
Hmm.
So I've been looking forward to it. So I mean, we were already thinking about getting it, um, but surprisingly, unexpectedly, we got it as a gift. And I mean, it's really fun, especially if you're playing with friends. Because like if you're playing alone, there's so many, there's like a limit of what you can do.
Yeah, there's only
Um,
so much you can do. Yeah.
yeah. So like if you have friends, like it's a really fun game to play to pass time.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the problem of having like one cartridge for like three people, like, passing, is that sometimes you don't have the time to play it. So I think out of all of us, I'm probably like the person who has least played it.
I
I
see.
Yeah.
played it.
I've
I
noticed
played.
I've noticed that when we all play together online, that
Yeah.
you're the one that's least, active. I'm
Right.
usually I'm usually playing with Jose or with your brother Marcos, but
I
Mhm.
mean, and it's not like it doesn't like bother me or anything, but like I haven't had like much experience with it.
hmm.
I mean, I still play it, but you know, I mean, it's still a fun game though. So I mean, we're thinking of getting another cartridge. Hopefully, that opens up some time to spend in there.
Well,
And
I
yeah,
definitely think it will, because
yeah,
I mean, I had initially just bought just one game, right? And I had already knew that, like,
yeah,
we were basically gonna be splitting it, me and my sister. But I mean, literally that same night, like the day that we got it, like that same night, like I went and I bought a new one, but because you know I just didn't want to have to wait my turn. And I mean, yeah, the multiplayer works and everything, and it's cool, but it's also very limited because you have to basically follow, like, whoever's the lead player.
right,
So
Hmm.
like the accompanying players are even more so limited, that way. So of course I had to go get my own copy, like, that same day. And I mean, that was probably like the best and the worst thing I've done, because now there's no, we're not fighting over the game or anything like that. But I
right.
mean, now that just basically, like, I just sold my life away, because I'm literally, like I said earlier, like, playing from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed,
Yeah,
Animal
without
Crossing has
without
been your life
interrupting.
for a little while.
Exactly. And I mean, like I said, this couldn't have come, like, at a better time, since we're all isolated, pretty much just, like, locked away in our houses. Like, there's really
Right.
not much you can do. So I'm
mhm,
kind of living vicariously through the game, in the sense where I get to explore an open world, something that's
yeah,
not four walls.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
So
dude. Yeah.
right. And I don't know, like, um, I just want to throw it out there, like, since Andres, you played Animal Crossing games before, uh,
yeah.
uh, having played this one, what are some like improvements you will make for it? Like, I'm sure it's not like a perfect game, or maybe it is. I don't know, but what's or like any one of you, like, what's
Yeah.
the
Well,
best things you like about the game, and the things that maybe they could have improved on?
I think for me, introducing the no multiplayer, I know they expanded it. I don't know if I think you mentioned that multiplayer was in it in a previous iteration,
yeah, I
but
mean,
just not to
well,
this extent.
oh no, yeah,
Oh yeah,
because I
yeah,
mean, the multiplayer in like say New Leaf, the 3DS one. I mean, the multiplayer then was it was basically online. It's basically how we've been playing. We play online and you can
yeah.
kind of visit like another town and such. But I mean, you know, I think the multiplayer it got better on this in the sense that you can actually like play simultaneously off of one game. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay. So, where I was gonna go with it was, it's nice to have those features, but I don't know. It's like a, what do you call it? A design paradox because you don't want to give so much control to the second player to where it affects the first player, but and you don't want the game to be too easy because both players can collect things at the same time and build things at the same time. So like
Mm-hmm.
player two is kind of like player one's helper. So that's only fun for like a little while, probably like like 20 minutes or so, and then you get bored of it. You want your turn, like you said before.
Yeah.
So I think you just have to accept that the multiplayer is just going to be how it is because it probably would affect game balance. But if they did expand it to where you could like go to the islands, mysterious islands with your partner or whatever, and collect things with them, or just like go to another person's island when you're co-op together on one Switch locally. Like
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that would be nicer, but I do see that there are taking strides to that with this iteration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, yeah. I mean, that's something that, like the first few hours that we were playing, that was something that, yeah, it bothered me, I guess. Yeah, yeah, like the partner player, yeah, like it's very limited. You're basically just a slave to the first player, basically, because you can only be like within like the same shot, basically, right? The same scene. So like
yeah,
if the lead character is like running off to in one direction, you're running off in the opposite direction, like you're basically just gonna get dragged to wherever the main character is going.
Right.
And so I mean, yeah, I mean it's true. When we first tried that out, I mean it was fun, it was interesting. Like we were amazed probably for about 10 minutes or so, but yeah, it got kind of limiting after a while, and then yeah, like the amazingness of it kind of faded away, and it's just started becoming kind of like a hindrance. But
Yeah.
but I mean, yeah, I mean, I agree with you in the sense that yeah, if they could have done it better, but I mean, as at the same time, I understand that like this is the first time that they've applied that to an Animal Crossing game. So I mean, maybe Nintendo's kind of experimenting around. Maybe there's some limitations as to why you can't, um, you know, have two people off of one cartridge visiting,
Yeah.
like an online
Uh,
island or something. I mean, there has to be a reason why that wasn't included. I don't know if it's like system limitations or maybe it'll affect the game balance,
Yeah,
something like
that's what I'm
that.
thinking.
So I mean, I understand that. I mean, yes, would I think it would be better if that was included? Of course, but I mean, I also understand that there's a reason why it wasn't included. And I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
for me, the way how I solved that problem, like I said, was I just went on and got my own copy so that doesn't become a problem. But for Jose and Luis that are just still kind of piggybacking off of just one cartridge, I can see why that can be, a problem.
yeah,
but I mean, even then, like for example, when I'm playing, Luis never feels like compelled to join me and play with me,
Right.
and it's just the other way around. I think, I mean, I haven't played the past Animal Crossing games, but I just feel like it's kind of like an inherent um, characteristic of the game, where it's just like it's just me playing right now. Like I don't think people.
Even use that.
I don't think like they or like the people who have been fans for a long time. I don't think they mind that. I don't think it's like
Yeah, yeah.
a
Yeah, exactly. I
big
mean, to me, that wasn't like a big. It wasn't a huge problem for me because I mean, I'm used to it. Like, if anything, like this is probably like um how could I explain this? I mean,
It's like
it's like
the
it's like a gift from God, basically, that you can actually play like multiplayer that way. But I mean,
hmm
like for you, that was your first experience. Yeah, like I can see why that can be kind of frustrating. But to me, it was amazing. I thought it was a huge leap, in the development of the game. But I mean, I thought it was pretty good. I liked it. I
yeah.
enjoy I enjoy the multiplayer. I have no gripes with it with how limited it is. Because I mean, it is rather limited, but I mean, at the same time, I'm like, hey, this is something that wasn't in other titles before, so I can get behind this no matter what.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the that's just like a minor nitpick though, a very minor nitpick of a
Yeah,
otherwise amazing game. Like everything else
I do have
surrounding the
other
game,
things.
you have
Do
something
you?
else?
Well, I have like some. It's not major issues, but like for example, I can't be the only one who like struggles when I'm fishing. Like you have to, it has to land like in front of the fish. I don't know, like
Oh,
it's
yeah,
something
yeah,
that I
yeah.
kind of struggle about. Um, and it's kind of annoying sometimes where like it literally lands on top of the fish's shadow, and even then it won't trigger the fish,
Going for that.
going for the bait. It has to be like in front of it, and so I have to withdraw my rod and then throw it back
yeah,
in until it lands on the perfect spot. And that to me, I mean, it's not a big issue. It's not a big deal. But it is something that I don't know. I wish it could be like fixed a little. I don't know.
Yeah,
yeah. Oh no, I'm behind you on that one too. I can't tell you how many times I've got annoyed with fishing because I have to angle my
Yeah.
villager a certain way, or
Yep.
like I cast the line too far out, and then I have to like walk back a ways and then
Yep.
re-angle like the line of trajectory. Yeah, it could be better, but I mean, it's honestly it's been worse on other titles if you can believe that.
Oh, really? Ooh.
Yes.
probably the casting animation wasn't as smooth, I'm thinking.
No, I mean just like like pretty much the same problem that you're saying, like how like you'll cast maybe like 2-3 inches off to one side, and then it won't like the fish won't react to it. But I mean, there's been I can't remember which title it was. I think it might have been Wild World, where it's literally like right in front of it sometimes, but because it's like 6 inches away from it, oh, it's too far, so the fish won't go after it. Like you literally have to be
Mm.
right in front of the nose of the fish,
Oh,
or
dang. Okay, so
you know
even
what I
more
mean.
precise you need to be.
So yeah, it's even more precise, exactly.
Yeah, I
Nah.
didn't. Yeah, I didn't really. For me, I kind of like the challenge of getting into the right position. I know it's probably a annoyance to others, but I kind of like knowing that it's kind of a skill that you can develop in a way.
Have you
But
have you ever
yeah,
been actually like have you actually ever fished like in real life? Have you fished?
yeah, a few times, but not recently. It was when I was smaller.
Okay.
Fishing's
See,
a waiting game, Chief.
yeah, see, that's why you're okay with it. I've never fished
Oh,
personally,
okay,
so
okay.
that's why to me I'm like, nope, nope. This is annoying. But I mean, you have to have a tremendous amount of patience when you're like fishing, because
Yeah,
it's not like if fishing in real life is not like in Animal Crossing where like immediately a fish will come swimming to the hook or the bait. Like it takes minutes, hours even.
dozens of minutes most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
but down here it's canal fishing. We ain't got that fresh water down here, so
Hmm.
it is what it is. I guess so. Everybody shared their experience. I guess for my
Yeah.
experience, you guys do you guys want to share a little bit more?
No, no, no. That's fine.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Um,
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
well, I mean, I feel like I'm nitpicking, but
You are.
I mean, another thing, another thing from the
And
game,
another thing.
and another thing that I feel could be maybe like improved in future games, um, it's maybe like the online, like when you're connecting,
All right. Yeah.
like
That's probably my biggest gripe.
maybe make it more streamlined, where it's easier visit someone else's island and then leave the island. Um, I feel like it kind of takes up some, time.
Like
Mm-hmm.
like oh interrupting, it's like oh
All
someone's
right.
coming along.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I get what you mean. You're talking about like when you like if more than one person's visiting an island, like the game kind of soft locks it, like in the
Yeah.
sense where you have to, allow the loading time, from
Right.
one player to go to the island. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, that can be annoying, especially because I mean we've all played together, and we've played up to like what, like four, almost, yeah, like four people, so three visiting people. So you get one person going in there after like 40 seconds of waiting, and then you're about to like move your little character forward before the next person comes in.
Yeah.
There's another 40 seconds. So like I mean, you spend almost like 2.5 minutes just waiting, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, that they maybe again that could be something that's that may have to do with the hardware limitations of the game itself. Because I mean, Animal Crossing is a pretty big game. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
um, I'm not exactly sure how much storage it takes on the system, but I mean, I do know that like bringing back again the original Animal Crossing. I mean, that took a huge chunk of the memory card from a GameCube. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I'm pretty sure that it has to be something with because I mean, there's a lot going on that island whether you're there or not. I mean, that's the whole purpose of the game is that if you play it in real time, so the game's constantly like loading stuff, as you're playing second by second. So I mean, I'm sure that the wait time has to do just to keep everything running smoothly. I'm pretty sure that's the reason why it has
Right.
such a long like load time, when you're traveling.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I mean, I understand. Like, I share that with you too. Where like, yes, like you're so excited to like visit and start playing together as a group, but then you have to wait like your 2.5 minutes just to get everybody on the island. And I mean, that's just us, where it's just three people visiting one island. I'm sure that there's other people that like they want to play like the whole island full with up to 8 players, that they have to probably wait like maybe 10 minutes. You know.
for
Mm-hmm.
everyone to be.
So, but I mean, yeah, I agree. If it was something that they could fix, I would welcome it. But I mean, if they can't, then I mean, I can deal with it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. It's not a big deal.
yeah.
I wanna be able to greet the visitors as they come into the airport because I don't think you can, right? Even if you're in the airport, I tried it before. You can't stay in the airport; it'll kick you out.
Oh, okay. Like you're talking about like the little cutscene or something, like when
Yeah,
the. Okay.
yeah. I want to
Well, I
stand
mean,
right in front of that gate and then use my little emotes and say, "Hey, what's up, homie? Welcome to my island, bro."
I mean, the fact that you have reactions, like you could use the greeting like reaction already in the game. I mean, it might not be exactly at the airport, but you could be waiting like off to the side, like on the like right
On the
on the
bridge.
bridge.
Yeah,
Yeah, you could do it then.
yeah, that's true.
I
That's
mean,
true. Yeah, we don't want our avatars to catch that Rona in the airport. We need the fresh air. You right?
All right, Ray. I'm gonna. Have you talked about your experience with Animal Crossing?
No, not
yeah,
yet.
but we haven't heard from you, Ray.
All right.
So what did you think of the game?
All right, so let's see. Let's take it back. How long has Animal Crossing been out? Like a
I'm
week
gonna
almost,
say
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, about a
Okay.
week. Officially a week.
officially a week. Yeah, it came out
Okay.
last Friday.
Okay. So
no
with
way.
Animal Crossing, let's see. So at the beginning there's like a pretty well, you're kind of in the tutorial even after you play for hours and hours, kind of. Like things are kind of like drip fed to you, like the all the tools and everything.
Right.
Like in the trailers, the vaulting pole. Like I was anticipating getting that like in the first 15 minutes of the game or not, but
Hmm.
that did not happen. Like it takes quite a chunk of time, like yeah, hours to get to that vaulting pole. Um, luckily I had you guys and you guys helped me out and got me a vaulting pole to so I can explore so I can explore my island a little bit. But
Yeah, we kind of cheated the system a little bit because
yeah,
we
just
were
just
we were a
slightly.
little bit we were a little bit more farther advanced than you because you were holding out for this game, right?
Oh
It took
yeah, yeah,
you.
yeah. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, like I was back and forth on this game because we got Resident Evil 3 coming out and Persona 5 Royal and Final Fantasy 7 Remake. That's a big chunk of change, and then I wanted to get Animal Crossing to play with y'all. I was like, can I spare that expense for
You're
y'all?
like, can I really? Am I really in a position to swing this right now?
Right? But
Yeah.
you guys like on the chat and everything, you guys were really persuasive, like that I would be that it was worth it because it's just that great of a game, and I'm really glad I did pull the trigger because I enjoy it thoroughly, even when I'm playing alone.
Right. Well,
Yes,
because see, the good thing is that like now your sister also is playing the game too, right? So it was something that you and your sister now can both enjoy.
yeah. So my sister, she had saw the Animal Crossing Direct,
Right.
and she was not about it. Like how they were presenting it to her in the direct, she wasn't a big of a fan, and I was on the
Really?
fence.
She
Yeah,
actually wasn't sold on the game.
yeah. She wasn't sold on the game after seeing a little bit of that. Well, she didn't see the whole thing in her
Right.
defense, but a little bit. She was like, "No, I'm not. I'm good." So I ended up getting it, and I wasn't even the
She
first one to play it. She was the first one to play it.
she just took over, didn't she?
Yeah, she took over for an hour or two, and she was just having a grand old time just exploring and everything. And that's when we experimented with the co-op,
Right.
right? So we were just getting our bearings and everything. Even on that first little bit where you can't use the vaulting pole and search your whole island, um, there's quite a bit to do. Like even if you have like a fourth of your island or whatever it is, a sixth, there's things to pick up. There's resources to find. Um,
Hmm.
once
Right.
once you get a shovel, what do you start with? Like an axe, flimsy axe or something that you can get pretty early. You can start mining for materials and different things like that. Like, it doesn't seem like a lot at first, but once all those things start unlocking to you and stacking up, um, the time kind of passes by. You can be in the game for like an hour and a half, and you feel like you just barely did like one objective that you wanted to do out of three or four of that day.
Right.
So yeah, like the game's value is actually pretty. Um, it's more than meets the eye, definitely.
Like just like the what's it called? The replayability
The
Hmm.
and like
replayability, yeah.
Oh
the
yeah, definitely.
like a lot
Because
of
I mean,
content in that.
like I said earlier, I mean, like in anticipation for the game, like I jumped back to way back in the original, like on the GameCube version. I mean, that game you can literally like go back to it and like even if you haven't played it like in a long time, even though new titles have come out in between since, I mean, the GameCube game still went on without us. Like I jumped in and I mean, the villagers literally reminded me like, "Hey, it's been like 73 months since I last saw you." So like, it literally
Yeah.
keeps track of how long you haven't played the game. And I mean, you can literally jump back in, and just whatever you were doing, like you can or like I said, like the island is constantly changing whether you're there or not. Like you'll come back and there'll be something new happening, and you'll be like, "Whoa, when did this happen?" But it's definitely like one of the few games that like you can replay it and it's just as good as when you first played it the first time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yes.
I 100% agree on that one.
Hmm.
Yep.
Speaking of the original game, I've been bringing it up a lot lately, but my sister and I, you know how in this game, in order for you to get more villagers, you have to go to the Mystery Islands, right? You redeem your Nook Mile tickets and you fly out to the Mystery Islands, and if you haven't gotten up to your three residents initially, you can keep meeting new ones. So right now we're on the search for this panda. He was way back in the original. Okay,
Wait,
this is
wait, my
huh?
guy. Have you denied people from coming?
Oh, of course not.
Okay, okay.
See, we didn't know at first how many residents you can invite. So the first three mystery islands that we went to, like on one of the islands, like we just invited all three of them, the very first ones that we came across.
Mhm. Mhm.
And when I picked up my copy, I did the same thing too. Like the first three, that I saw, like the first three mystery islands, the people that were there, I invited them over to my island. But after you get your three residents, like that's it, no more, right? You can't invite no one else up until you upgrade to the town hall. But no, I didn't reject anybody. I didn't not offer them to come to the island. But now that we did unlock the town hall, we have to. We actually the purpose now is you actually have to invite people to visit your island.
Oh, cool.
So
All right.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, like each and every day that you play that game, like there's something new going on, something new you have to do. You have to invite more residents. You can upgrade your houses. You can, there's just a ton of things to do. So today was actually the when we got the town hall. So we woke up today, we saw Isabel for the first time, in this game,
That's
and
awesome.
my sister was excited and everything, and right away like Tom Nook put us to work, and he's just like, okay, well, we got to invite more people to this island. You need to set up a campsite. You need to invite, like more residents to come live in our island. So right now we're in the middle of the search to look for this panda. His name is Chow. For the people that have actually played, the original Animal Crossing and the iterations after that,
Hmm.
if you know who Chow is, that is a very important villager to us because we are on the search currently for Chow to come and visit our island. So that's what we're gonna be spending the next couple of days doing. Hopefully, we're just gonna go through the islands. Now we're probably gonna start like kind of like ignoring the request to come visit our island because we're specifically looking for Chow.
Well, his name is Chow, so I imagine that it's pretty hard to find him because he's always saying bye to people.
Ah,
Oh,
Yeah.
my boy.
Yeah, yeah. I
you
had,
know,
I
I think
had,
we
I
have
had to
a
say
good
it.
choice.
Yeah, I know. I bet that you just couldn't resist.
I couldn't. But how's it spelled though? In all seriousness, is it?
It's chow, like chow, like when you chow down, like the food sense.
Oh,
It's
got you,
C H
got you.
O W.
Okay, okay.
CHOW. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jordan.
Is he plump?
Yes, he is.
That's a must get. You need him on the island.
Oh, most definitely. You
Yeah.
can't. You cannot have your island without chow.
Mine might be, but maybe I'll be lucky and I'll get him. I think,
Okay,
yeah.
so I think we spent enough time talking about Animal Crossing. I think we should move on to the next topic of conversation because we actually made a lot of time just on that one topic, almost like 40 minutes of conversation.
That's damn near its own podcast by itself.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we could end our podcast now. We could thank the listeners right now, but no,
Yeah.
we could still keep trucking on if y'all want to.
All right, yeah. We have to go over this Nintendo Direct Mini that came out a couple days ago.
Okay.
All right. So, Nintendo did not have any lead up to this announcing this Direct Mini. None at all. We all lost hope. We all thought that Nintendo forgot about us, that they weren't feeding into our needs to see any Xenoblade, any Metroid Prime 4, none of that stuff. But they did bless us. They did bless us with a Direct Mini. So we'll go ahead and go over that right now.
All right.
All right. All right. So Direct Mini, first of all, it started off with a COVID-19 disclaimer saying that the release dates and everything, because of the situation in the world, that they'll be subject to change if something doesn't come out when it's supposed to. So that was just a message to all the people that were viewing it.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah, yeah. So the first thing that they started off the direct with was Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition.
Okay.
Okay, so it was like a I know, right? Heck yeah. So
I
that
know you
was
were. I know you were excited about that one, Ray.
oh yeah. Plug. I did react to it on our official YouTube website, Road Jump Media. You can find it by googling Road Jump Media. The reaction is posted on YouTube.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, shameless plug. Okay, so Xenoblade Chronicles, there was like a 3 minute trailer for it, showing off the revamped graphics and everything. It's coming out May 29th, and there's going to be a regular edition. That's just going to come with the game and probably any pre-order incentive that the store is offering. There's also a definitive works edition that's a little bit more expensive, but you get an art book, a 250-page art book with art from the game, which is very exciting. And for the UK people, they actually get a better deal. They get a collector's edition. And in the collector's edition, there's a vinyl and some other goodies in
Mm.
addition to what we're getting here.
Okay, I didn't know about that one. That's actually a pretty good addition.
Yeah, yeah. So unfortunately, U.S. residents, unless you got to connect up in uh, England or UK, you're not getting that joint. You have to deal with what we
unless
got here.
unless any of the listeners, if we got any UK listeners,
Yeah, hook us up.
yo, y'all
Hook
got
us
y'all
up.
got to cop us one of them.
Heck yeah, I'll pay interest.
I think they're getting a steelbook too. A steelbook.
Oh, they're
I
getting the
think
steel book. Yo, you know how I feel about them steel books.
yeah.
Yeah. So, did you guys watch? I'm assuming you guys watched the direct.
Yes, of course we
Okay.
did.
Okay. So, what do you get? I'm the only one in the group that's played the original Xenoblade, on the 3DS. So,
Okay. Yeah, so I want to hear your thoughts on this, right? Because
Mm.
I didn't play the original Xenoblade Chronicles. I mean, my only familiarity with it is that it's part of like the larger Xeno franchise,
hmm
and obviously Shulk in Super Smash. That's pretty much my
No.
knowledge of the series. So why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, so I'll try not to be to get into spoilers for those that want to go in and enjoy the full story. But the gist of it is that let's see, that you pretty much live on top of like some giants. There's a Bionis and a Mechonis. The Mechonis is where the machines live, and the Bionis is where the humans live in this world.
Okay.
And you start off as Shulk. Um, in true anime protagonist form, there's nothing very special about Shulk. He's kind of like a regular resident, like a mechanic, and um, eventually he's able to wield the Monado. And the reason why he's using the Monado to fight the Mechon is because they're attacking the Bionis, and he wants to stop the attacks basically. He has a personal investment into it, because I don't want to get into why. It's a pivotal story point. But in like JRPG form, you form a party and you have different party members to choose from, and you just go to different areas, expanse areas with different enemies to farm and areas to look at, things to collect on the ground for items to
Of
either
course.
yeah either for to sell for the currency, or I forget or if you can work them into your gear or not, but I think mostly it's about accruing money and getting better gear so that you can better face the challenges that are coming to you. So um,
So just
the
your typical, RPG, stuff.
just the thing that makes it stand out for me is the actual story. Like the story is very immaculate. Like
Okay.
yeah, there's no really, you know how in some anime games or like JRPG games there's like cringy moments or moments that you might want to take out because you feel like they don't belong.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Sometimes I Xenoblade Chronicles, each story beat is solid. Like they don't stray off. There's no like filler moments when you're going through the game. It feels very organic and very well told, which makes it special. Yeah.
Well, I
So
mean, I've been hyped for that game because I mean, I've never played it. It's the same with as Andres said. My only like exposure to that game is Smash, pretty
Smash,
much
yeah.
the Smash game. Um, but I mean, I think I've told you guys this before, but I mean, I've been wanting to kind of start like a JRPG, or like get into that genre. Um, so I mean, and I mean, I've also been exposed to Persona, um, thanks to you
Gee, I
guys as
We
wonder
well.
got.
who's responsible for that.
Yeah. And I mean,
We can make a whole podcast about that on its own too as well. We
uh,
might do that.
I haven't had the opportunity to play that. Um, so I mean, I kind of have that like eagerness to play a JRPG and kind of explore that
Well,
myself.
we got there's a ton of them that are, releasing. I mean, we got Persona 5 Royal coming out in a couple days. I mean, there's Xenoblade Chronicles coming out, a couple months from now, hopefully. So I mean, you got plenty of chances. I mean,
Yeah, the Switch
of
is. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
Bravely Default's coming out, which we're gonna get to. That one looks pretty promising.
yeah, yeah. I haven't played the first one though, so
Yeah.
apparently
Oh
you don't have to play. Oh,
yeah
you don't need to play the first one.
yeah. So are you guys
Um,
invested in Xenoblade? Will you give it a chance when it comes?
I will
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, yeah. It's worth a play. It's worth a play. It's a little long, but it's worth a play.
That's good.
Yeah. All right. So I have a couple of other highlights. I'm not gonna go over everything because even though it was a 28-minute direct, there's actually a lot of games to go over. So I picked some stuff out that I think was most pertinent. Shout outs to all the indie games and everything that did come out though. So I wanted to give them a little bit of a nod. All right, so next thing, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 DLC. This DLC is unique in a way because it's going to actually have story. So it's going to feature Doctor Doom and the Fantastic Four, and you'll be able to
Mhm.
play as the Fantastic Four. So that's pretty exciting. That dropped already, so if you wanted to pick that up, you can do that right now.
You know what's funny is that you actually brought that game over to play once,
Yes.
and then we were all like really into it like that one day, and pretty much every time after that, after every like gathering that we've had after that, like you keep bringing that game,
I
trying to
keep
get us to
bringing it
play,
just, yeah, just on the slim
but
hope
we
that we
To
would
just
see,
pop it in.
yeah, but
to
we
see
just
that.
we just never we just never really got into that joint again. Like I mean, it was. I mean, we had a good time. We had a
It's a
good time
it's a
that
good,
first time, and we
yeah.
we got pretty far. I mean, you said we got close.
I think we were
Like,
like 2/3 the way through the game
yeah,
already in one sitting. It's just that addictive. It's just fun to play.
yeah, but I
Yeah.
mean, just after that gameplay, like it was just nope. We just never really gave it another chance. So
Yeah.
if there was a time, I guess it would be now. But
Yeah. I mean, personally, I was hyped for the game when it was announced.
Mhm.
Because I like the whole Marvel thing.
okay,
Um,
Right, right.
but yeah, like, I played it and yes, it's fun. It's a good
It's
game
like an
to just spend.
arcadey game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm still interested in getting it, but not like a full price, you know.
I understand
yeah,
that.
Not
Yeah.
for the game, but it's one of those games you just get like when it's at like $20 or
I
that's
understand that. I think it would be worth more if
that's good.
because the other games, the originals came out before the whole MCU thing, and the MCU thing just like blew people's minds and just like raised the bar in so many levels of how storytelling could be in a Marvel game or like a Marvel property. And I think just
Mhm.
MUA3 just didn't evolve enough to reach those expectations.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So next thing we have the Animal Crossing Easter update, which is going to start on April 1st. A bunny, I forgot what the name of the bunny is, but it's going to visit your islands, and while it's there or during that time, uh, unique decorations for Easter are going to be available for you to craft, and there's going to be an Easter hunt where you can dig up the eggs and fish them out of the water.
Yeah.
So,
And
um,
we're just talking about like the whole replayability, and the whole they're gonna keep adding content like for every holiday and stuff. So I
yes,
yeah,
mean, it's an investment.
yeah, especially
yes,
now
it
since it's selling
it
gangbusters, they
it
got to.
really is. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. People are going to be invested. Everybody's hyped for that.
Mhm.
I heard that for Animal Crossing, like they pulled out a lot of the villagers. Is that true?
You mean like
Like
well, I
the
mean,
villagers that would yeah, like the bunny was the bunny like a permanent resident in your town before?
no, the Easter Bunny, no. Like he the like the I guess like because he's basically modeled after the Easter Bunny. So I
Hmm.
mean, like I know, you know, in Mardi Gras there's gonna be like a peacock coming to come visit. So I mean, they're not permanent residents, but I mean, as far as like the actual roster of like residents that could come to your island, I was wondering about that, like, because I did hear that they had, cut down the roster. So
Hmm.
I didn't hear about anyone in particular, like no specific resident that is no longer available, but I did hear about that. I don't know how I don't know how limiting the roster is now, but
Because I was thinking maybe they could do something like this and use that like a way to bring back those characters that maybe didn't make it. Um, just kind of like a special event type of thing.
You think people would
It's
be
a
upset if they were just there for limited time? Well, if they dropped them, would it be permanent? Like the
mm,
like the people that
the
come,
you're talking
the
about the
residents?
residents, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure just like with anything else, if it sparks enough controversy, I mean, maybe they'll consider it like a patch where they'll include them back in,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So the next thing we have, Ring Fit Adventure got an update where you can, I think it's like a rhythm game where there's different tracks from different Nintendo Switch games. You can get your exercise in that way, and there's also a cardio mode where you can just go through the levels. Um, I think it's, how does it work? So typically, you go through the level and it's pretty limited, but I think they expanded it to where you can even do more cardio than what the level allows you to do.
So since we actually have that game,
Yeah.
um, so every stage basically, like you have to be jogging in place in order to go across the stage, right? So how
Yes.
that works is you have a Joy-Con that's strapped to your thigh, and then you have the other Joy-Con attached to the ring con that's provided to you with the game. So what you do is you jog in place to get your character on screen to move, but along the path there's enemies. There's because it's basically it's an actual adventure.
Hmm.
So it just think of it like like an RPG that involves fitness. So the cardio mode, what it basically does is it eliminates the enemies that you would normally find in the stage on the road,
Oh,
and
got you.
you're just basically just jogging in place the whole time so that you can clear the level without having to stop and actually battle the enemies.
So the level stays the same, or
Yeah,
yeah,
the level layout remains the same.
yeah,
You're just basically you're just running or jogging or running because you can run too, and
right,
it
right.
makes your character run faster.
Okay. So if you
So
just
you
don't want to
could
do the
just
enemies and just jog, basically.
exactly.
Okay,
So
got it.
if you just don't want to have that little period of time where you have to stop and then do the other exercises, because basically how the battle works in that game is you actually have to do actual exercises.
Hmm.
Like you can do sit-ups, you can do like hip thrusts. There's a bunch of different things that you can do in the game,
Right.
that basically your exercises are your attacks. So in cardio mode, it just basically removes that. It just removes that aspect of the game where you're just continuously just running, throughout the course.
Got it.
But yeah, we did actually try it out. We did try it out. It was pretty good. There was like a Splatoon for the dance or the
The
cardio
rhythm,
exercise
the rhythm
mode.
game.
They did add like a couple of musics from like Breath of the Wild, Splatoon 2. Um, I mean, Ray, we I think I had you on a call when we were playing the Jump Up Superstar, right?
Oh yeah, and I called that out. It's like I
Yeah.
I hear Jump Up Superstar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a bunch of different things. Like there's the new modes are appreciated. They're pretty good, especially right now that gyms are closed. You can't really go out to exercise other than what you have at home.
Right.
So I think right now, again, they're taking advantage of the fact that people are quarantined at home. It's a good way to stay in shape. It's a good exercise. It's a good sweat.
Hmm.
I think for me though, no lie, no joke. Like I think for me, the thing that I was probably most impressed with was the fact that you could actually change the voice of your ring companion. So
Interesting.
now
Okay.
they have a female option.
Yeah. And the language too.
Nice,
And the
nice.
language, of course, you can't forget. Like it supports a bunch of different languages: Spanish, French, German. There's a bunch of different. They definitely improved. On the game. I thought it was a pretty
Yeah.
good game. I tried to sell you guys on that game too, but y'all weren't having it.
No, I mean, if there's a game that I regret not buying, especially now in the situation we're in, it's that one. It's Ring Fit. Yeah.
I don't regret
Yeah.
it.
And I mean, when I saw the direct, I mean, it looks like a solid, game. I mean,
Yeah.
it looks fun. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I might buy it. We might buy it. I don't know. We'll see.
To be fair, when you try to sell us on it, it was in a hostile situation, so it wasn't casual. But we won't go into that. We won't go into that. All right. So
PTSD.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel like if we talk about this now, I mean this podcast is gonna go on all afternoon. So I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
as it is, we're already at the
We're already
close to the one
overtime.
hour mark, right?
Yeah, so we
Mhm.
got we got to pick up the pace. Let's try to cut
Yeah.
this off in like
Yeah, yeah.
6 7 minutes.
Okay.
All right. All right. So let's see. We have the Smash Ultimate reveal for the first DLC in Pack 2. It
Right.
was a very hype announcement. They had a trailer and everything to accompany it. No, they didn't. They didn't.
No.
But
They did not.
we're we won't throw shade at Sakurai because you know how great he has been with the previous fighters. So I'm always willing to
It's
cut
definitely
Sakurai some slack.
Well, I mean, I always said that if there was one character that Nintendo kind of messed up on not adding as a fighter in the roster was like, Springman or pretty much anybody from the Arms roster.
Right.
I didn't think that he was actually going to take it seriously and actually like add him. I mean, I'm
Well,
not
it's
going to
not.
say
It's,
it's a
it's probably not going to be him specifically. It's going to be one
no,
of the
yeah,
ARM
because
characters. Yeah.
yeah, well they said anybody in the Arms roster specific or like in general, like it's not Springman specifically.
Right.
But I mean, if they do make Springman like the fighter,
Hmm.
then I mean that pretty much just throws the whole the assist trophy or not this
right.
yeah the assist trophies can't be fighters
Can
because
be
he's
fighter.
currently an assist trophy right now. So
Yeah.
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 if they do add him, that opens up a whole new world of possibilities. Because I mean, I've been saying that I think Isaac from Golden Sun should have been a fighter.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That series should get some representation. It's not talked
Yeah,
about
you know
I've
enough.
what?
heard
Like a lot of people like were missing out on the Golden Sun series. I mean,
Yeah.
when that first came out like on the Game Boy Advance like years ago, I mean, they made a game that was so large that they had to split it up into two games basically. It
Wow.
was that big of a game. Like if you played through Golden Sun and you beat it and then you picked up Golden Sun Lost Age, you could actually carry over your save data from Golden Sun into Golden Sun Lost Age and basically make the whole like you can make the two games like one whole.
Wow.
It
Yeah.
was a pretty big deal
That
for
sounds
its
really
time.
ambitious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, let's not get into that because we're
Yeah.
kind of pressed for time
We're
already.
yeah.
That's a conversation for another time.
True. All right. So
Right.
Arms character in Smash. The next two things or three things that I have highlighted. Bravely Default 2. It's a JRPG, kind of in the design aspect of Octopath Traveler.
yeah.
Um,
Right.
that's going to come out in 2020, and there's a demo out right now. If you want to check out the features of Bravely Default 2, you can go ahead and check that out in the video. It goes through the systems that makes it unique. Ninjala, uh, I just want to shout that out because I'm very hyped about Ninjala.
You you're
Yes.
happy
I
about
want to
Yeah,
try that game too.
yeah, it's a free-to-play arena battler where you're basically not create, but you can choose the look of your own ninja and you battle in an arena. So that seems pretty fun to play with friends. And last thing, if you guys want to chime in on anything for this one, Pokemon Sword and Shield DLC, the Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra. Yeah. The Isle of Armor is going to come out in June 2020, and the Tundra fall 2020.
Yeah, and I mean they had already like mentioned they gave like details about it in the previous direct, Pokemon Direct, right?
it. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So shout out to Cub Fu. Cub Fu is pandering to me specifically.
So,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
well, I'm excited for it, but I mean, I'm excited for anything Pokemon related. So.
Well,
Yeah,
of
you're the
course,
Pokemon
we're
guy.
talking to the
That's
resident
Pokemon
Pokemon
fan.
fan over here. So
I haven't bought Pokemon Mystery Dungeon though. That's the
you know
same
what?
game.
You're sleeping on Pokemon Mystery. I didn't cop it either, but I mean, I know you're sleeping on it because
Yeah.
I've played the original. I played the original one, and I mean, it was really good. So I'm actually surprised on myself that I didn't get it either.
Maybe this week.
Well, I mean I owe you a birthday gift, so
Oh, that's true.
you never know.
All right, so that basically sums up the main points of the Direct Mini. Again, there are much more other games to look at, so if you want to, you can check out our reaction or go on Nintendo's website to check that out. Right. All right. So we had a couple of other news stories. I'll just go ahead and mention them really quick, since we're pressed for time. It's our first podcast, so our pacing's a little off.
Yeah.
All right. So first thing, Epic. So Epic Games, the creators of Fortnite, and they have created also the Unreal Engine 4 that a lot of companies use to create their
Mhm.
games. They're going to be publishing some games from different studios. So there's three in particular. Gen Design Studio. That's headed by the creator of, or the person that helped create, or was the head of The Last Guardian, Eco, and Shadow of the Colossus. Their next
Mm,
game is going to be published by Epic.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
that's nice. Sounds
The
promising.
Yeah. So, and the two other games are, Remedy Entertainment is another developer. They p put out Control in 2019, and it was a Game of the Year contender. So they are a seasoned developer, and they make good games. So their next game is going to be published by Epic.
Good, you
And
know.
lastly, Playdead. Playdead, they made Inside, which came out in 2016, and that was also in the Game of the Year. I think it got a few Game of the Years that year for, it was like a indie game.
Mm,
So their next game is also going to be published by Epic.
epic.
So Epic is making money moves. They're trying to get as big as possible. They're trying
Right.
to ride that Fortnite wave and just do something good for
Yeah.
the industry, it looks like.
I
That's
mean,
good.
we'll see what they have to offer. I
Right.
mean, it was bound to, they're pretty big right now, so I'm glad to hear that.
I agree. I agree. And the last news story is related to COVID-19. Because of the pandemic, PlayStation is throttling download speed so they can preserve their online infrastructure so it doesn't shut down on everybody while they're quarantined.
Mhm.
So it's only going to affect downloads. It's not going to actually affect the servers that you play your games on, they say. So if you do experience some slower download speeds, it's because PlayStation doesn't want their stuff to crash.
Mm.
And
Okay.
that just about does it for the news section. Any comments about what we've talked about so far?
No, I mean,
Not really.
Not really.
I mean,
Nothing
let's
pressing you.
take it over. Let's take it over to our guests, Jose and Luis. What do y'all think?
About the news that we just heard?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have anything pressing to talk about, if you wanted to mention, or if you don't, that's a-okay as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not really, actually. I haven't I haven't really like looked at news,
Right.
video game news. So I'm not like
In the
in
bubble
the
right
loop
now.
about,
Yeah.
yeah, about
Usually you
what's
are,
like
but yeah.
developers. Mhm.
Yeah. Just yeah. I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the podcast on a game. So what I did was that I picked a back of the box, a game, and I looked at the back of the box, and I took a quote from the back of the box, and you guys have to say that you would be down to play this game based on the description, or you wouldn't be down to play this game. Um,
Oh,
I'm not gonna tell you the title. You're gonna be surprised at the end with depending on how you answer this.
So
all right.
we're gonna launch a segment called Pass or Play or what?
Yeah, pass or play, pass or play. We'll
Okay,
go with that.
let's do it.
All right.
Okay.
So I did omit some things. I didn't alter what it says, but I did omit some things that would be a spoiler, and it would be a giveaway.
Okay.
Uh,
All right. So this is the quote. All right, starting right now. A master class in war. The future leaders have gathered. You must choose a side, lead the charge, help your allies reach their full potential.
Oh God, that sounds like Fire Emblem. Is it Fire Emblem? Is it Fire Emblem Three Houses?
Well, are you gonna play it or are you gonna pass? I can't tell you yet what it is.
Oh, that's true. Okay. I mean, just
Yeah.
from that alone, you know what though? Okay. See, I think a good a good game to me is would be like the story. If there's a good story behind the game, I would play it, and that to me sounds like it would be a good story. So I think I'd play.
Okay, play. How about you guys, Jose Luis?
Uh, I don't know, because
I'll play it. I mean, like the description sounds like it has a hook on its own.
Okay. And then
well, for me, I
Jose's
mean, the first
indecisive.
thing that the first thing that popped up was like war, um,
War.
and I'm not really too big on war names.
Okay.
So I mean, the first instinct, like the first, what first popped into my mind was pass, but I don't know.
All right, one more
But
time.
if it's Fire Emblem,
Yep.
Well, so do you play or pass?
I'll pass.
All right.
Okay. All right. So two plays, one pass. The game was in fact Fire Emblem Three Houses. It
Of
was.
course, I
It
knew it.
I'll
was.
play.
Yeah. 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 So Jose has played, so he is a fan. He's a
I
fan.
take my answer.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I might make it a little bit harder next time, or I'll just throw like a game that's really obscure or something.
Yes.
Deep
Yeah.
cut.
Yeah. All right. So thanks for joining me, everybody. Thanks to my co-host Andres and our guests Jose and Luis.
Yes.
Yes.
We're
Thank
looking
you
to
for
make this
having
a
us.
weekly podcast, so please tune in for the subsequent episodes. You can follow us on our different social media platforms. We have a YouTube, a Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can find them at Rose Up Media. You guys have any final words that you want to say to our audience?
Thanks for listening to us rant. This
Right?
is our first podcast, so it kind of went on
For a while.
a little disorganized here and there, but hope you stick around.
Yes.
Okay, well,
If you like hearing about video games. You have friends that you talk to about video games. Uh, maybe take a chance on the podcast.
Well
there you
said.
go. Shout out to our podcast. There you go.
Yes.
You know what? For our first podcast, I think it went pretty well.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Well, thanks for joining us.